So good day everyone. Today we're going to discuss the PERT and CPM project management techniques. So first let's define what is project management. So project management, it actually involves planning, organizing and managing resources like the people, the money and equipment to achieve the goals of a specific project within a set time frame. So next is we'll also discuss the importance of scheduling in project planning. So scheduling is very crucial because it makes sure that all the necessary tasks are completed on time, and also this helps you to use your resources effectively and avoid delays in finishing the overall project. And next is we'll have a brief overview of PERT and CPM. So PRT and CPM are very helpful tools we can use when we want to make a scheduled project. So PRT, or program evaluation and review technique, is when you're like working on a project where you're not entirely sure how long some tasks will take. And also this PRT helps you estimate the possible time frames considering the best case, worst case and most likely scenarios. So the use of this is when you're not really sure exactly how long some of the tasks will take, and also help you guess the possible time it might take, and considering things could go faster, slower or just right. While the CPM, or critical path method, we will use CPM when you have an idea of how long each task will take. It actually helps you find the most important steps that, if delayed, will delay the whole project. And this CPM also often looks at how to balance time and cost, or in other words, CPM often considers to the cost of speeding up or slowing down certain tasks. So in short, PERT is often used when task durations are uncertain, while the CPM is typically used when task durations are more predictable and focuses on managing both time and cost.
Now let's take a closer look at the Program Evaluation and Review Technique, or commonly known as PERT. PERT is a project management tool used to schedule, organize, and coordinate tasks within a project. It is especially useful in planning complex and time-sensitive projects. Essentially, PERT helps manager analyze the tasks involved and the time required to complete each one, while identifying the minimum time needed to complete the entire project. So, PERT was developed in the 1950s by the United States Navy as part of the Polaris submarine missile program. At that time, the Navy needed a way to manage large and highly complex projects involving multiple contractors and thousands of tasks. The solution was PERT, which helped manage uncertainties and improve scheduling accuracies. It quickly gained popularity and spread to other industries. So, PERT has two features. It focuses on time rather than cost. It's primarily used to ensure that projects are completed on time, making it ideal for research and development or projects with strict deadlines. Second, it uses probabilistic activity durations. This means that instead of assuming a single fixed time for a task, PERT acknowledges uncertainty by estimating a range of possible durations. This makes it more realistic and flexible in dealing with real world scenarios. So, PERT has three time estimates. First is optimistic time, or O, the minimum time required to complete a task assuming everything goes better than expected. Second is pessimistic time, the maximum time a task might take if things go wrong. And lastly, most likely time, the best estimate of the time required assuming normal conditions. Using these three estimates, PERT calculates the expected time for each activity with a weighted average formula. So, um, the formula is time estimates is equal to optimistic time plus 4m plus p divided by 6. So given that PERT aims to cover these estimates, we can safely say that PERT do help in decision making under uncertainty. This formula gives more weight to the most likely scenarios while still factoring in uncertainties. Now, let's move on to the advantages and disadvantages of PERT. The advantages includes it helps identify the critical path. the sequence of activities that determines the shortest time possible to complete the project. Second, it improved planning and decision making under uncertainty since the formula of PERT still factors or consider the uncertainty or the possibilities of last, it encourages more accurate time estimation and better resource allocation. Through using the time estimates formula, we can identify accurate time estimation sa paghimo og activities. However, PERT also has its disadvantages. It can become complex and time consuming for very large projects. It is because, due to sheer number of tasks and dependencies involved, the process of identifying, estimating, and graphically representing these elements can quickly overwhelm project managers, especially if project details change frequently. So, for example, consider a large-scale infrastructure project, like building a new highway. This project might involve thousands of tasks, ranges from land acquisition and design to concrete pouring and pavement installation. Each task has multiple dependencies and potential risks, requiring a detailed per chart. Next is the accuracy depends heavily on the quality of the time estimates provided. If the estimates are inaccurate or unreliable, the entire PERT analysis will be compromised, potentially leading to unrealistic project timelines and schedule deviations. Lastly, it does not focus on cost, so it may need to be used alongside other method like CPM or critical path method or cost analysis tools. So in conclusion, PERT is a powerful project management technique that emphasizes time and uncertainty. It's especially useful when the managing projects with a high degree of unpredictability and interdependent tasks.
And now let's move on to the critical path method, or CPM. It is a powerful project management tool used to plan and control complex projects. So CPM identifies the most essential task in a project, known as the critical path. So this task must be completed on time for the entire project to stay on schedule. If even one of them is delayed, the whole project is delayed. Now let's look at a example. So building a garden shed. The project includes the following tasks. Design is allotted for 2 days, buying material day 1 and lay foundation 2 days, frame 3 days, and add roof is 1 day, and paint 1 day. So this task form is straight sequence representing the critical path. So the total duration is 10 days, and any delay in these steps will push back at the project's completion. So to sum it up, the CPM helps project managers to focus on what matters most, ensuring timely delivery by highlighting critical tasks and managing resources more effectively. So the Luis will report this part para mas masabot ninyo and dato ma-explain ang steps niya para makuha nimo ang iyang critical path iyon.
History and development of critical path method. The critical path method, or CPM, was developed in the late 1950s to help manage complex projects more efficiently. In 1956 to 1957, CPM was developed by Morgan R. Walker of DuPont. DuPont is a major American corporation historically known for its work in chemicals, material science, and biotechnology. In 1958 to 1959, CPM was first tested on DuPont plant shutdowns. It helped to reduce project and time cost. Around the same time, the program evaluation of and review technique, or PERT, was developed by the U.S. Navy for the Polaris missile project. CPM and PERT are similar, but CPM focuses on time and cost, while PERT includes uncertainty and time estimates. In 1960s to 1970s, as computers became more common, CPM was adopted in construction, engineering, manufacturing, and aerospace. In modern development, or today, CPM is part of almost every project management software. It's widely used in construction, IT, event planning, and etc. And let's go for advantages and disadvantages.
Let's talk about the features of CPM. CPM could be focused on cost and time because CPM helps in minimizing project duration and controlling costs by focusing key tasks. Also, CPM can be deterministic durations because it assumes that the time required for each activity um, is known and does not change for making planning straightforward. And then float identification because it identifies how long non-critical tasks can be delayed without affecting project timeline. It could be also visual planning because it uses network diagrams to clearly show task sequences. And then um, let's move on to the identification of critical path method because it could be list of activities because outline all project tasks with estimated durations and then set of dependencies because it identify which tasks must follow others and then draw network diagram because it visualize the project flow to see how tasks are linked and then forward pass because it calculate the earliest start and finish times for each task. And also it could be backward pass because it determine the latest start and finish times without delaying the project. Also find float because subtract early and late times to find slack for each task.
Advantages and disadvantages of CPM. For the advantages, it helps for better planning, identify critical tasks, time management, improves efficiency, and monitors progress. For disadvantages, complex for large projects, time-consuming setup, needs accurate estimates, doesn't handle uncertainty well, and lastly, resource limits not included.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I'll briefly explain the comparison between PERT and CPM. These two is important project management techniques. Now, let's start with the key differences. PERT or Program Evaluation Review Techniques is used when there's uncertainty in activity duration. It uses probabilistic time estimates, meaning it considers a range of possible completion time, optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely. This makes it deal for research or development projects where timeframes are hard to predict, while CPM or critical path method on the other hand focuses on both cost and time, assuming activity durations are known and fixed. It's commonly applied in construction or manufacturing projects where task duration are more predictable. Now, moving on to similarities. Now, moving on to similarities, both PERT and CPM use network diagrams to visually map out project activities. These diagrams help identify the critical path, which is the sequence of tasks that directly affects the project's finish date. Understanding the critical path helps project managers allocate resources effectively and ensure the project finishes on time. Now, finally, when you should use each method. Use PERT when your project has a lot of uncertainty, such as in research or new product development. And use CPM when your project is more predictable, such as in construction, where both time and cost are clearly defined. In conclusion, both tools are valuable for project planning, but your choice depends on the nature and certainty of the project details. For example, we are giving task of designing ultra interface. So our optimistic time is 5 days and most likely time is 8 days and our pessimistic time is 12 days. Now the formula is expected time equals 0 plus 4m plus 4p plus p over 6. Now, this 4m is our given weight of most likely and for optimistic is given of weight of 1 while the pessimistic also 1. Then our solution here is 5 plus 4 times 8 plus 12 over 6. Now our 6 here is the denominator comes from the total number of weight units applied to the time estimate. Like this optimistic is 1 plus most likely 4 plus 1 plus pessimistic 1. So the total is 6. Now, the solution are 5 plus 4 times 8 plus 12 over 6. It equals to 5 times 30 plus 32 plus 12 over 6. Also, it equals to 49 over 6. Then 49 over 6 equals 8.17 days. Now, for step 2 is interpret the result of the expected time. To complete the activity approximately 18.17 days, this estimate is more realistic because it considers best case, most likely and worst case. PERT is useful when activity duration are uncertain. Instead of relying a single estimate, it gives a weighted average that's more accurate for planning. While, for example of critical path method, draw a path, we find all possible paths from the start to end. Then, for step to add duration now, we can calculate the total for each path. For example, our path 1 is A2 plus B4 plus D5. It equals to 11 days or 11 days path. And our path 2 is A2 plus C3 plus D5, it equals to 10 days. Now, identify the critical path. The longest duration is the critical path, which is the step 3. Because any delay here delays the entire project. Now, our critical path here is A to B to D project duration that equals to 11 days. Now, the explanation here is the CPM help us to find which sequence of tasks, the critical path, must be completed on time to avoid delaying the whole project. Tasks on this path have zero float, meaning they cannot be delayed.
Good day everyone. I'll be talking about the components of PERT CPM network. First, we have the activities and events. Activities are the tasks that need to be performed in a project, while the event are milestone or endpoint that show when an activity starts or finishes. Second is dependency and sequencing. It is important to understand orders of tasks and which one depends on others. This helps in planning project flow properly. Lastly, we have the critical path, slack time, and floats. The critical path is the longest path in the network and shows the shortest time to complete the project, while the slack time or float is the extra time a task can be delayed without delaying the project. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. My report is to introduce you the steps in constructing a PERT and CPM chart. There are 6 steps in constructing PERT CPM diagram or chart, and these are listing of activities, determine dependencies, estimate time durations, draw the network diagram, identify the critical path, and lastly, update and monitor the progress. So, for example, a farm wants to expand its vegetable production by introducing hydroponic farming. The goal is to set up a hydroponic system and start producing vegetables within 6 months. So let's start with the listing of activities. Every project requires specific activities. Identifying tasks ensures clarity and execution. Example in hydroponic farming. Tasks include research, site preparation, equipment, procurement, installation, planting, and harvest. Without listing these activities, the project would lack direction, leading to inefficiencies. And second, determine the dependencies. Some tasks depend on others before they can start. So, for example, before installing the hydroponic system, the farm must prepare the site. This prevents delays and ensures a smooth workflow. Third, estimate time durations. Every activity needs a realistic time frame. For example, site preparation 2 weeks, equipment procurement 4 weeks, installation 3 weeks, and planting is 8 weeks. So this will greatly help allocate resources effectively and manage deadlines. And the fourth is draw the network diagram. A visual representation of tasks and dependencies helps track progress. For example, a network diagram with tasks as nodes and arrows showing dependencies, it will make easier for the business owner to clarify the workflow. So I have a picture here of how a workflow of drawing the network diagram. This is a drawing of the network diagram. So as you can see, um, oh, di siya maklaro. So mga na example, na siya yung mga arrow and boxes. Di lang pa siya maklaro. Uh, so next, identify the critical path. Identifying the critical path is the longest sequence of dependent tasks that dictates project duration. Critical path takes the longest because it's the backbone of the project schedule. And this is why na it requires detailed analysis, it involves calculations, and it requires multiple revisions. By taking the time to accurately determine the critical path, agribusiness projects like the hydroponic farm expansion can ensure efficient scheduling and timely completion. And lastly, update and monitor progress. Projects may face changes or delays, requiring updates to the chart. For example, if equipment procurement is delayed, adjustments are made in later activities. This ensures flexibility and keeps the project on track. So that's all. Um, so the critical path method network diagram illustrates a project broken down into six interconnected activities labeled as A through F, each with a specific duration and dependencies. Activity A has no predecessors and serves as the starting point, so followed by B and C, which both depend on A. Activities D and E follow by B and C, respectively, and finally activity F depends on the completion of both D and E. So the diagram identifies all possible paths from the start to the end of the project, which the most critical being A, B, D, and F. This path has the longest total duration of 22 days, making it the critical path, as any delay in these activities will directly delay the project's completion. The alternate path A, C, E, and F takes only 16 days and has lock meaning Delays in this path won't impact the final deadline unless they exceed the slack time. By highlighting the critical path, this method enables project managers to focus their attention on the most time sensitive tasks and optimize resource allocation and ensure timely project delivery.
So, good day everyone. Today we're going to talk about PERT or Program Evaluation and Review Technique and CPM or Critical Path Method. Two powerful tools used in project management. This method help business and industries plan and complete projects efficiently. So now you may be wondering, where are PERT and CPM actually used well? Well, they play a big role in industries like construction, software development, research projects, event planning, and many more, wherever tasks need to be carefully scheduled. These techniques can be a game changer. So let's start with PERT. PERT is helpful when the project involves tasks with uncertain durations. It uses three times estimate: optimistic time, best case scenario, and pessimistic time, worst case scenario, and most likely time, average case. Using these estimates, PERT predicts how long each task might take and help team set realistic deadlines. Now let's talk about CPM, the critical path method. CPM identifies the longest sequence of tasks that must be completed on time to prevent project delays. If any task on this path is delayed, the entire project gets delayed. That's why managers focus on prioritizing critical tasks to keep things on schedule. To better understand how PERT and CPM work, let's look at a software development project. As an example, in software development project, a team needs to complete tasks like designing the software, writing the code, testing the program, and launching the final product. Using PERT, managers can estimate how long this task will take, even if exact durations are uncertain. Meanwhile, CPM helps them identify the most important tasks, the ones that must be completed on time to avoid project delays. So why are PERT and CPM important? These techniques help companies save time, reduce cost, and ensure efficient project planning. Whether it's constructing a building, launching a new app, or conducting research, these methods allow teams to work smarter and faster. So, in conclusion, PERT and CPM are valuable tools in project management. By using them correctly, businesses can ensure their projects are completed on time and within the budget. Thank you for listening, and I hope this helped you understand how PERT and CPM make industries more efficient.
So, to sum it up, we explored the significance of two vital project management techniques, the PERT or Program Evaluation Review Technique and the CPM or the Critical Path Method. These methodologies help manage and complete projects successfully by allowing project managers to plan, schedule, and allocate resources effectively. So going back, PERT is designed to handle uncertainty in project timelines. It focuses on analyzing the time required to complete each task and how uncertain or variable those times might be. So PERT uses a probabilistic approach, accounting for best case, worst case, and most likely scenarios. While on the other hand, CPM is more deterministic, focusing on identifying the longest path of task, the critical path that directly impacts the project's overall duration. By optimizing this path, project managers can ensure timely completion of the project. So for an example, consider a construction project where the task is design, procuring materials, building, and inspecting using PERT. You could estimate the duration of each phase by considering the best case, worst case, and most likely completion times. With CPM, you would identify the critical tasks that must be completed on time to ensure the project finishes as planned. So moving forward, the importance of PERT and CPM lies in their ability to optimize resources, time, and effort, ensuring that projects are completed within the required time frame and budget. Both PERT and CPM help predict the duration of a project with greater accuracy. PERT, through its probabilistic approach, helps prepare for uncertainty, while CPM ensures that the project is completed on time by focusing on critical tasks. So these techniques allow managers to allocate resources efficiently by identifying which tasks require more time and attention. They help in determining the project schedule and can reduce the likelihood of resource-related delays. PERT's probabilistic nature allows project managers to plan for various scenarios, ensuring that even unexpected changes in timeline do not significantly affect the overall project completion. In conclusion, PERT and CPM are invaluable tools for effective project management, providing clarity, structure, and risk mitigation. They empower project managers to plan better and allocate resources efficiently and keep projects on track by incorporating both techniques. Managers can reduce delays, improve decision making, and ensure the success of their projects.